Remakes are something that I'm a little iffy on. Sometimes I love them, sometimes they come out terrible, and I feel like there's no need for them at all. Arizona Sunshine, though, is a game that I do feel like justifies a remake. I mean, they've gone from taking a game that came out quite a long time ago, so long ago that I played it on the HTC Vive years and years back when it looked like this, and they've turned it into a game that looks like this. Now, if that's not impressive, you're lying, because it is impressive. But is the new Arizona Sunshine remake worth it? Should you spend the £10 upgrade fee? The answer is probably yes. Or should you buy the game outright for $24.99 on the UK stores? Well, I'm here to explain what I think, and I've been playing the Arizona Sunshine remake thanks to Vertigo Games. And I've also got to say thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. But if you know me, you know my rules. For first impressions or reviews of PSVR2 games, I have to have one or two conditions filled. One is either I get to play the game beforehand and decide whether or not I take that sponsorship because the game has to be good. Like, for example, with Into the Radius, that game is phenomenal. I was happy pushing it to you guys with a sponsorship because I knew that I absolutely loved it and could be truthful. The second condition is letting me be open, and that is what today is. These guys have let me roam free and basically create content however I like, which is much appreciated, and I can speak openly to you guys about how I feel about the Arizona remake. So without further ado, let's take a look at what's included in this ground up remake of the original game.
Okay.
For your £10 upgrade fee or £25 base price, if you don't own the original game, you get access to the original campaign, the game's horde mode, and the 2 DLCs. Now, the original campaign will run you about 2 hours-ish. For my playthrough, maybe just a little bit over that, which is split up into very bite-sized chapters that you fight your way through, and then a similar structure for the DLCs, the first of which can take anywhere between 30 minutes to about an hour, and the second of which can take anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. And these two put you in the boots of more military roles, whereas the main campaign, you're the average American dude trying to make your way through Arizona and get to safety. Add the horde mode in on top of that and you're looking at a fair few hours of gameplay for your money. And the game can be played in co-op as well, of course, so if you bring a friend, the fun is doubled. That's just how that works. But does this gameplay actually look any good? Does the remake do a good job of updating the original game to include a load of new bells and whistles on the graphics department? Well, yes, this game does look very comparable to Arizona Sunshine 2 on the PSVR 2, and that's kind of the point.
Oh, this looks nice.
It is really dark.
This looks nice with the lighting. Something about this lighting, it's like occasionally in Resident Evil 8, I'm like, wow, that looks pretty real. Even though obviously this is stylized, this looks like that. Wow.
Now the two games are up to a level where you can play them back to back and they feel a bit more like a seamless experience because the gameplay mechanics and the visuals are completely brought over from the second game.
God, the light rays are cool. You can tell they've done a fair bit of work.
As for the nitty gritty stuff, I think like Arizona Sunshine 2, the game doesn't use dynamic foveated rendering, so there is a bit of aliasing, but nothing too egregious. Very similar to Arizona Sunshine 2 if you played that one. And the game also runs reprojected, but I can kind of see why, because things do get very hectic later on, and I think having that locked 60 frame rate would be much better than having an unlocked or potential 90 frame rate that dips in and out of 90 when lots of stuff is happening. You'll see what I mean in a little bit when we look at gameplay, but this game does have a lot of stuff going on at once.
Hello friends. Oh my god, they can climb that. Okay.
Outside of the actual clarity of the resolution and all that, the visuals have received a boost in every single department here. Maps now are baked in lovely lighting and god rays. The textures of enemies, weapons and environments are fantastic looking, and the environmental and particle effects are much better now. Overall, a very nice facelift. The story and dialogue essentially remain exactly the same. The level layouts remain pretty much the same as well. So if you played the original game, this is very much a retreading exactly of it in terms of everything that's put together here. And you're not going to be in any unfamiliar territory, it's just going to have a nice new coat of paint and gameplay mechanics over it. The Arizona series does have the classic American dialogue, which doesn't really make me laugh, but does add a bit of charm to it. And the story is very serviceable, but also pretty relatable. The guy that you're playing as does talk to himself throughout the narrative, but he's usually saying what you're also thinking. So there's not really a disconnect there, and none of his actions really feel forced. Now I'm going to tackle two different areas here. One is gunplay and the other is PSVR2 features, because both work hand in hand here. With the FR out of the picture, the other big PSVR2 feature will be haptics and capacitive triggers, and that really shows its hand with the gunplay. There are quite a few guns that are fed to you throughout the campaign, so you'll always be finding new things to use, which is really cool, and each of the guns have different haptic feelings in the triggers. It's nothing massive, but you can can tell with, for example, a hand cannon or a 1911. Those are going to have very different trigger pulls and very different feeling haptics when you pull the trigger, because one is a very powerful handgun and the other one isn't.
Okay.
Little things like that help keep the combat fresh and feeling punchy, and it was a big reward to get that deagle near the end of the game and start popping off zombies. The haptics really kick in there, feels really good. Also got a shout out, they have an L85, L86 here, which is very, very appreciated. A very underrepresented gun in VR, one that I do not see often. Thank you for including that. Thumbs up from a Brit, even though the gun is a bit dog shit. Not in the game, in real life.
What is it? My country's gun. Is it the A1 or the A2? Is it the one with the mag release that just kind of triggers itself whenever it wants? Well, if I'm walking along and suddenly I don't have a magazine anymore, then I'll know why.
As you blast your way through Arizona, there are several types of zombies you will encounter. One of my little nitpicks with the second game is that the zombie variety isn't massive. I do think that they make up for that in the hordes that you fight, because there are quite a lot of them at one time. But you have your basic runners, walkers, armored military zombies, and big fat zombies that take a lot of shots to kill. It's very basic like that, but it works. And the game keeps it fresh by placing them in different locations where you both expect and don't expect them, which keeps you on your toes. The main thing with the zombies though is the fact that the gore is the same as the second game, meaning that when you blast open a zombie's face, it really blasts open. If you throw a grenade into a pack of them, limbs will go flying. It's that sort of thing. It's really, 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 really messed up, but on a technical level, it's fantastic. And I have a feeling it's stuff like this is why the game is locked at 60, reprojected to 120 rather than native. It's because there is a lot happening at one time in certain scenes, with a lot of limbs flying, a lot of gore mechanics, and a lot of physics interactions. A lot of stuff in the game is physics based that you can interact with and move around, and that is quite intensive on the system.
Well, it's a bit like Dead Island with how horrendous that is. I almost got demonetized last Arizona Sunshine video. Let's hope that doesn't happen again.
As for locations, even though you're stuck in vibrant Arizona for all of the main campaign, the locations do shift a little bit in the DLCs as you take on these military operations, and even in the main campaign, you are given a fair bit of variety as you head underground, overground, and through different areas. And overall, I was pretty happy with the variety that you run into throughout the runtime.
Pretty sure this is my fire alarm test. If it's not, I will be burning to death very shortly while playing this game.
At the end of my playthrough of Arizona Sunshine Remake, I was pretty content that this game is a big thumbs up from me in terms of a £10 upgrade. If you already have the original, this is kind of a no-brainer. If you haven't played it for a while and you wanted to play it on PSVR2, this is what you should be waiting for. It's a facelift in every sense of the word. And even at full price, if you love your zombie games or have played Arizona 2 but never played 1, this is a perfect time to pick it up, because if it was just the campaign, I would be a little bit wary because the runtime is a little short, but with the addition of both DLCs and the Horde mode, there's a fair bit to sink your teeth into here. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are you excited for Arizona Sunshine Remake? It should be coming out today, I think. So please let me know if you picked it up already or if you plan to. Or are you saving your money for a little Phasmophobia that should be coming out fairly soon? My advice is though, if you like a zombie game, Arizona Sunshine Remake is as good as it comes, really. It's punchy, it's fun, it's gory, it's explosive, and I had a great time with it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you to our patrons and YouTube members: Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Mirza, Ace Gamer, Hippie Pickle, Jin007, A License to Chill, Sun WTF, Fat Controllers, The Game Cat, Andrew Ehrenreich, Jason Parker, Lamar Hall, Jordy Bansma, Lemon64K, Outcast VR, Prophecy777, Gundi, Salvador, and David Gerhardt. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.
Oh my god. Got very strong hands. If I try and push a locked gate, it goes like... It's like that scene in Jurassic Park.